Hi everyone, I'm Chloe. I'm the Families Programmer for JW3, which is a vibrant and diverse arts and culture community centre that welcomes anyone and everyone. And welcome back to another episode of Crafternoon. So today is a special one because it's Passover, which is the Jewish festival of celebrating our ancestors leaving slavery and Egypt. So let's see what we're making today. We are going to make an origami jumping frog and a paper seder plate. And for this you will need one green piece of paper, two thicker bits of paper. You can use any colour for this. I've got a nice shiny silver colour because this is going to be for my plate. Some sellotape, some scissors, some felt tip pens, and two toilet roll tubes. Okay, let's begin. So the first thing you'll need is your green paper. We're going to start with our frog. So our frog appears as one of the 10 plagues that comes. So first of all, we're going to fold our piece of paper down like this. So we're going to fold one corner to this corner, just like so. And then we're going to cut off this rectangle at the bottom because we don't need that. We're just going to make a square. So make sure that you ask an adult for help if you've got some scissors. Okay, so now we should have something that looks like this. And then when you unfold it, it's a nice big green square. Okay, so what we're going to do now is fold it in half this way. So, and then you're going to fold it in half again, but downwards this time. So now you should have something that's folded like this. So when you've got it open like this, you're going to fold the bottom half up, but you're going to fold it diagonally so it meets the corner like this. And you're going to unfold it and fold this corner up to this corner. So exactly the same, but just on the other side. So now you've got a cross there, and then you're going to fold this bit up to the middle. Okay, so now your bottom half of that rectangle should look a bit like this. Then this is a little bit fiddly, so you might have to ask an adult to help you. Then what you're going to do is you're going to fold this bit up so you're left with a triangle. So these bits need to go in. I'm going to do it on the table and then show you. So this is how I made my triangle. So this is what it looks like unfolded. Then you need to pinch these two middle folds in so you're left with a triangle on the bottom. Once you've done that, you can flip it over and do the exact same thing on the other side. So now I've got my cross on the other side, I'm just going to fold and make my triangle. So now I've got both triangles on either side, so yours should look something like this. Okay, so now you've got that, we're going to flip it over so the bit that isn't folded is facing the top, and then you're going to create some arms and legs for your frog. So you're going to take these little flappy bits from underneath and you're going to fold them one like this. One like this. Okay, so you should be left with something that looks like that with two flaps folded down. Then you're going to turn it over and do exactly the same thing on the other side. So fold it down and then fold it down. So now it looks a bit like a snowflake, a green snowflake. So now you should have something that looks like that. Then you're going to turn it over and give it some nice big googly eyes. So I'm going to go with brown, I think. You can also give it some spots, however you want to decorate your frog. Okay, so I've given my frog some googly eyes. I'm also going to give it a red tongue because my frog likes catching flies. And I think I'll give it some green spots as well. Okay, so there's my green spotty frog with googly eyes and a nice red tongue. And then when you put it on the table, you can push the back and it should jump And there is your origami jumping frog. For our second craft, we are going to be making a paper seder plate. So this is the plate that you have on the table during the Passover meal. So there are 6 things that go on our seder plate. So first things first, we're going to take both of our pieces of paper and you're going to want to draw a big circle in the middle. Again, like we did for our video before, you can use a compass for this if you want to make your circle perfect. I'm going to draw mine freehand. So once you've drawn your circle, I'm going to cut mine out. You want to cut it out with both pieces of paper so they're both the same size. Okay, so now I've got my 2 pieces of silver paper, 2 circles, both the same size. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my toilet roll tubes and I'm going to draw around 6 holes, 6 circles around my plate. So I'm going to trace around my toilet roll tube with a pen or pencil. Make sure they're evenly spaced. Okay, so now my seder plate looks something like this, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 circles drawn on my piece of paper. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the circles out of the top layer. So there's one, just so you know what it looks like, and then I'm going to carry on doing the rest of them. So now I've got all of my circles cut out of my first top layer seder plate. So now what I'm going to do is take my bottom layer seder plate, I'm just going to put it on top and I'm going to gently trace the circle on the underneath piece of paper where the top circle is. So I'll show you one and then you can copy. So I've drawn around the top circle and you can see where I've drawn it. So I'm going to do that for every single circle. So now I've done it with all of my circles. So I've got my top layer here, and then on the bottom you can see I've drawn all the circles exactly the same as on this side. So now we're going to set this aside for 1 minute, and in the circles on our bottom layer of the seder plate we're going to write all of the things that need to go on it. So I'm going to tell you what they are now as I write them. So you can get some different colour pens for this if you want to do it in different colours, make it nice and bright. So I'm going to go for pink, purple, blue and green and red. I think I'm going to use my 6 colours. You can either draw a picture of them or you can write them, it's completely up to you. So our first one we're going to write is beitza, which is our hard-boiled egg. So you can see that in my circle. And then we can write at the bottom, egg. And that represents the offering that was made at the temple. So the next one I'm going to write, I'm going to use green, is zeroa. That is the bone. And that represents the lamb that was made for the sacrifice in the temple. Okay, the next colour I'm going to use is blue, and we're going to go for haroset. So the haroset is the yummy, sticky apple dip that we make, and that's to represent the mortar that the slaves used in Egypt. The next one I'm going to use is red, and we're going to go for chazeret, which is one of the bitter herbs, which represents the bitterness of slavery. So the next one I'm going to use is, which colour? Purple. And we're going to go for maror, which is the second bitter herb. And then the next one, the last one, is karpas, which is parsley dipped in salt water, which represents the tears of the slaves in Egypt. So now I've done all of my things on the seder plate. You can draw pictures as well, you can make them super colourful, however you want to do them. I've just written mine out. So now I've done that, I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to take my toilet roll tube. Now this is where this might get a bit tricky, so you need to ask an adult to help you. So you're going to cut little strips of your toilet roll tube, about 1 inch thick for each one. This is why you might need 2, because you will need to have 6 of them. So that's how big you want one of them to be, so I'm going to have 6 of them. So now I've cut my tubes, so I've got 6 of those. Now what I'm going to do is take my scissors again, and I'm just going to cut some little slits on the bottom of the toilet roll tube. sort of 1 centimetre apart and just go all the way around the tube. I'll show you once I finish cutting them so you can copy. Okay, so they look like this. Cut them about 1 centimetre around, and then you need to fold them up like this so it becomes a little ledge that we can use to stick down. Okay, so you want to fold them out like that. So I'm going to do that on all of my 6 tubes. And you can even, once you've folded them out like this, you can press them down on the table to make sure they're nice and flat. Okay, so now I've cut all of my tubes, so they all look like this. They've all got the little ledge on the outside. So now what I'm going to do is take my sellotape. I'm going to cut some little strips of sellotape, and I'm going to take the bottom half of my plate and I'm going to stick one of my circles around where I've written the things for my seder plate. So I'll do one and you can copy it. So you want to get a couple of bits of sellotape and just stick them around the outside of your tube. Make sure those ledges are nice and flat so you've got somewhere to stick your sellotape. So I've stuck my first one on and here it is. So that's my first tube and I'm going to do that with all 6 of them. Okay, so now I've stuck all of my tubes onto the bottom half of my seder plate. Now what I'm going to do is take the top half and lay it over and try to match and then stick it on. So now I've made it fit, and you just have to squish it down a little bit so it's nice and tight, and then you can stick it around the edge with some sellotape. And there we go, there is our 3D seder plate with all of the things that you need to go inside it. And that's the end of our craft today. I hope you had fun. Happy crafting and happy Passover. Bye guys!